And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. How about a big round of applause? Singing out of South Dakota, Showtime. We're now going to go to our second drum here. Invited drum here as well. A group of singers from the state of South Dakota also. Ladies and gentlemen, Wakia Luta.
Aho, mitakyapi, chante washte na pechus apino. My name is Jordan Goodweasel, and I'm the lead singer of Wankia Luta. And Wankia Luta in our language means Red Thunder. The song we're gonna sing comes from the Korean War era. There's no official person who made the song, because back then they made the songs during the wartime, and then someone would bring them across back home, and they'd sing it. But the song we're gonna sing talks about there was a battle in Korea across the seas, so the Lakota boys went across and prevented the Koreans from advancing through the war. Aho.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Wakia Luta, roll call. How about a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? Wakia Luta, welcome to Manito Ahbee. And now we're going to continue on with our roll call special here from the 1950s, 1960s. We go down to Red Lake, Minnesota to Battle River.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, before I speak, I would like to have everybody remove their hats. Just kidding. The song we're going to sing here was composed by our uncle, the late Johnny Smith, in 1956. Oh, I get to keep the good mic, all right.
How about a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? Battle River. Welcome to Manito Ahbee 2022. Moving on down the line here. Good people, Pow Wow Nation. We got another drum here, one of our invited drums that comes to us from Oklahoma, US of A. Ladies and gentlemen, to introduce a song from the 1950s, 1960s era, we now go to the drum of Thunder Hill.
Hello, my name is Cheevers Topa, and this song was made by a gentleman named Sylvester Warrior, and he taught it to my adopted dad, Jimmy Kimball, and Jimmy Kimball taught it to me. So it was made in the 1960s, and it talks about a World War II veteran, and it tell him to stand up, you're a friend of the Ponkas.
Thunder Hill, anytime you're ready.
I'll be right back.
Hey, how about a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Manito Ahbee,
Yeah.
Thunder Hill. And now we're going to move on over here to our open singing contest here. We're singing here in drum group number 6, ladies and gentlemen, singing out of Standoff, Alberta. We come to the drum and the sounds of bullhorn.
Okay, ni sto ko kis kato kono to tu kana na kaya 68 sitapi ape sitapi okag. Okay, the comments sin nake Tom Whiteman apistotsim. The song was made by Tom Whiteman and from the Blood Tribe in the around 1965. He was mostly a dancer, but he composed songs. And this is one of the songs he composed that got sung around quite a bit during those days.
And now, bullhorn, roll call.
Yeah.
How about a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for the Bullhorn Singers? We're going to move down here to drum number 7 in our open drum contest here this year. And I'm not sure exactly where these folks come from, but Ontario, I believe, Canada. And we're going to go down here to drum number 7, the Battle Nation, to introduce their song here tonight.
Bonjour, bonjour, Gakanawaya, bonjour, and Shnabe. Bejago Agush and the Go Makwan into them. Now take a megwaning and donji. The song that we are going to be singing today, it was taught to my grandfather, and it was taught to my father as well, and passed on from generation to generation. When my grandfather learned it, he learned it from a man, a song maker, and a singer from our area in Treaty 3, Kabapikatawangag, the Lake of the Sand Dunes, Lake of the Woods as we call it. This song was a traditional song that was sung in our area during our gatherings. And that's as far back as I can trace it back for you, is about 3.5 generations, 4 generations. So it is about 1960s, early 1960s, I would say. Yeah, let's sing.
Battle Nation, roll call. How about a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, to Battle Nation, drum number 7. Welcome to Manito Ahbee. We're just kind of working on the sound system here tonight. You know, it's been a long time since we kind of come into a room like this and kind of working everything out. As we stand by for the next drum here, we're going to be going into drum number 8, the White Horse Singers, to introduce their drum roll call song.
Bonjour, Nishnabeg. Roger Disneycause, Scott Zagan, Donji. The song we're going to sing here today comes from our late relative, Curtis Assiniboine. I don't know what year this song was made, but I know it comes from the Assiniboine Juniors. We used to sing with Curtis, and he showed us a lot how to carry ourselves as a drum group, and how to drum and how to sing. And I just wanted to say, it's been a long time since we all gathered like this and come together to have a good time. And with that, I'll say, Gachimi Gwich Bizinda Muk.
Let's give the White Horse Singers a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. That was drum number 8. We got drum number 9 coming to you here for the roll call special. And this is featuring songs, bringing songs from the 1950s, 1960s era. We're going to start asking all of you Grand Entry participants, all of you survivors, all of you that have come for tonight's Grand Entry. We're going to ask you to start gathering over on the east entrance over here. That's the main entry in that you came in. We're going to start asking all of you Grand Entry participants to start gathering over there. In the drum number 9, to introduce the roll call song, we're going to ask Red Cree.
Red Cree, if you would please. Dancing in Manitoba. I am one of the members of the Red Cree Singers. We are from northern Manitoba. And this song is composed by one of our singers, by
Okay. Busy with life. For real. I got content. Oh, nantam namu lagi mana? Ayo, kigat na ba? Oh.
To the Red Cree Singers, ladies and gentlemen. Roll call special.
We started off over here at Spirit Sands with the drum song, and now we're going to come back to them. We're going to ask all the sound personnel and everybody to come on over this way, and we got one more song. Listen up, singers. This is the 50s and 60s drum roll call special. There will be 4 places awarded. 4 places. And we'll tally that up, and we'll announce the winners a little bit later on tonight. Who will be the official winners of the 1950s, 1960s era drum roll call contest? We're going to go down here to the Spirit Sands to introduce their roll call song.
Bonjour, danse, diggity magnetuk. Neither way, mark day, Mr. Tim. Makwa do them. Kabaskiga mag, doon che. Kamaskong gut nak nagama winawa, kipita gwig, ukay ganong kom, kamyas noma, nanas commit now, kakyo. We are the Spirits and Singers from Swan Lake First Nation. The song we're going to sing here comes from our grandfather. It comes from our home community of Gabaskigamag. This song comes from a time when our people, they would just go to each other's yard. They would start singing. The dance the people would bring food. They would just go and start powwow anywhere in the community. It was a time when they all got together, took care of one another, and helped each other. This song is passed down to our drum. Keep singing, keep We're always told by our elders, it's good to use new songs and new music, but it's also good to remember the old ones. This comes from our home, the Swan Lake First Nation. It's a song from our grandfather. We're not sure how old it is. Could be almost 1900 back then. With that, we thank you. It's good to see everybody after 2 years of COVID. One thing is, no matter what, us First Nations people can survive anything. Woo!
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, how about a big round of applause to the Spirit Sand Singers and all 9 singing groups for bringing an outstanding number of songs our way here by way of the 1950s, 1960s era. We appreciate you, singers. Invited drums stand by. We're going to get set up here for tonight's official dance-in. We're going to ask all the Grand Entry participants to head on over to the east entrance, and we're going to be getting ready for our Survivors Grand Entry. Head dancers, if you would please, our youth and also our adult head dancers stand by.
And also we're asking an individual from Wasay Healing Center, if you'd come on over our grand entry, and also somebody from the National Center for Truth and Reconciliation. We need a representative as well. So Wasay Paint. Wasay Healing Center, go on over, get ready for our grand entry, and National Center for Truth and Reconciliation. We're just about ready to go. So again, all of those individuals we called in first will be Indian reservation schools at Indian Day School, 60 Scoop MMIWG, if you make your way over there. And again, you'll come in first, and then Rusty, I believe they want them all to come in like that, and then the dancers will follow them and kind of encircle them at the end. Somewhat of an indication of kind of vision, if you will, or a dream that somebody had. So that's dandy. We'll see how it works. And again, as we go through, we're just kind of trying to follow up on these things. It's very important, especially for these survivors, to understand the support that is there for them. But we're going to have an individual, Wochikya.
At this time, while we're getting set up here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, as we're getting all of our appropriate things lined up here for our grand entry, for the first grand entry for this year's edition of the 2022 Manito Ahbee Festival, the Dance of All Nations, we're going to ask the Manito Ahbee staff to head on over to the grand entry area and And the Manito Ahbee staff carrier is Mr. Mike Hawkins, I believe is the word here. We're going to get a microphone down here on the floor here momentarily. We're going to have our invocation here in just a few moments. We have a gentleman that has been chosen to say a prayer before we begin tonight's dance celebration. And tonight, just a little bit of background. The Manito Ahbee Festival, they wanted to bring special acknowledgement here to the intergenerational history that we have in this country and also throughout the United States and Canada. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, this is dedicated to the survivors of Indian Residential School, Indian Day School, the 60 Scoop era, and also those that were impacted and are survivors of the missing, murdered Indigenous women and girls. This year, ladies and gentlemen, this was a special acknowledgement that the Pow Wow Committee and the local members of the Manito Ahbee, a group of individuals, they wanted to make sure that we knew when we talk about informed trauma, when we talk about intergenerational trauma, we know that in places like this, when we come to celebrate, when we come together, we know that this is the place where we feel most comfortable, where we feel that we have a place of matter, that we know that we have a sense of belonging, and we create that sense of belonging in this arena. None of us here knew how that feeling was going to be coming out of a global pandemic. None of us knew intergenerationally into the year 2022 what our future may look like. But we know that somewhere in there, throughout the sacrifices, the hardships, and the many things that have gone on this past year, we knew that in Cowessess, Saskatchewan, there was a number of unmarked graves that were unearthed. And over in British Columbia, they made a historical find. And a lot of our survivors, they talked about this. They knew that someday we were going to hear those voices. We knew someday that we would hear those whispers and we'd find those children that never came home, that were never spoken of, and now we're starting to hear of them. Tonight, we could go on and on about the historical trauma that we have all been living through, that we have all been impacted by. And a lot of what we see here today is about reclamation. It's about reclaiming an indigenous spirit, a tribal spirit, a nationhood spirit. We're bringing that back home so that intergenerationally, the generations of today, that we have all been impacted, so that our young children, our young people today, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, our children of today would never have to see days like that. They wouldn't have to see hard days. They wouldn't have to be victims of any kind of circumstance. And this is what our elders, they talk about, is reclaiming our future. As spiritual people of all of our nations, we have prayer, we have understanding. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, as we go into this, we're going to ask our invited drums to stand by. We're going to ask Spirit Sands, Showtime, Wakia Luta, Battle River, Thunder Hill to stand by as we bring in our dance, also our participants that represent this generation of wellness. We're all trying to find that cycle of wellness. We're all trying to interrupt these cycles of dysfunction. And tonight, when we come together in these celebrations, we are one step closer to those things. When we can hear the sound of our drums, when we can hear the sound of our languages, we know we're doing okay. We know we're going to be okay. Tonight, I go down here to the arena floor. A gentleman that carries a lot of prayer, carries a lot of song. A gentleman that has been counted upon many times. People depend on this gentleman for prayer and song. We know that our songs are the truest form of prayer, and this individual has been gifted with a very special gift of being able to share songs of healing, songs of intergenerational pride. And tonight I want to go down here to the arena floor. I want to introduce to each and every one of you Mr. Cheevers Topa from Oklahoma. Let us join him in prayer.
I want to say thank you to the Powwow Committee for giving me tobacco to say this prayer today. And I'm truly honored. At one point in time, I lived up here in Winnipeg, and I got to see a lot of culture up here and be amongst the city, and I sure enjoyed myself. So you have really good people, real nice, kind people that were good to me when I was around here. So like I said, I'm really thankful to the Powwow Committee for allowing me to say the prayer. There's a lot of people they could have asked that are older than me to stand up here, but in the tobacco they give me, I'm sincerely appreciative. Deon de begido ki gakom do kiem do audit do kiem do shandabit all how de no e tego honde and bon mo do ki I'll go con dog key, bag dog key. They on day hana on time keep kill dog key. Ain't they dog get goot get dog toe goot get dog bag dog ya kia bon dog key. Hey ma gota gom go pop ma copel do day and bag it idol dog key. And then how you can't all kahin dog key. They on day. I come to you, say thank you for listening to me, Creator. Ask you to be with all these folks here today and continue to bless us all as Indian people, indigenous people. You continue to watch over our homes, and each and every one of us find their homes better when they get home, Creator. I come to you in a good way, ask you to bless my powwow family here, wherever they find them today, God, wherever they're going throughout life, traveling from state, provinces, things of that sort, God, you must take care of them for me as we go through life, and you continue to protect us from this virus. I say thank you for all that you've done for our folks. Continue to make our indigenous people more self-sufficient. Pray that way for our folks here, Creator. So I come to you in a word of prayer on behalf of the Powwow Committee. Deonde Begido Ki Gakom Do Kiem Do Deonde Aho Ai De Comp Edo Jesus. Amen.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Mr. Cheevers Topa. You know, ladies and gentlemen, he represents the Kiowa and Navajo nations. What a beautiful prayer. Thank you for starting us in such a prayerful and reverent manner. I'm going to turn the microphone over here to one of our co-MCs coming to us from Montana, USA, from Fort Peck Reservation in Montana. Ladies and gentlemen, representing the Fort Peck Assiniboine and Sioux tribes. Longtime MC, one of our tribal leaders, true traditionalist, veteran, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom Christian, to get us set up for tonight's grand entry.
Wopile chicha tushka dai chanu ya wastelo. Amitaki epi ushima lakchewi chashamielo. We're going to ask those of you that are able to rise to please rise, and the reason for that is we're going to honor the integrity of what it is that you'll see coming in, leading our people in. It's the eagle staff. At one time that was a lance and it represented war. Well, they decided to bend it over so it represented Wola Kota Makasit Omini, peace all over the world. And in that, they carry that and they help us to understand the importance of being dignified and honorable in our representation of not only ourselves, but our family, our tribes, wherever we come from, of indigenous people. We represent that value system that is based on natural law. We're going to go over to Spirit Sands and we'll ask them for 4 push-ups of a grand entry song. So as we welcome in our grand entry, ladies and gentlemen, think of those that we're representing here today. Residential school survivors, day school survivors, the 60 scoop survivors, and of course the MMIWG individuals that are affected by that. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go over to Spirit Sands. Help us out. Grand entry song, please. Okay. Ametaki epiduake oyaki binachi po wamni wapaha chokata ekta ualo. Okay. Yeah.
Aha. Maganalig. salute. Me Mike Hawkins. Ladies and gentlemen, bring it in, the Manito Ahbee Eagle staff. Please welcome, we're honored to have Mr. Mike Hawkins bringing in our Eagle staff. Give him a round of applause, everybody. Our Eagle staff has entered. Manito Ahbee, oh, hey-ya, hey-ya, hey-ya. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, our warriors, you'll get your dog, we'll get your dog wig. Those that have served, that have protected us, that have always held guard, that has always stepped up in service, in protection, in battle. Our veterans, our men and women veterans. How about a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? Here they are again. Hoo-yah, ho, get your dog, hoo-yah. And this year's Manito Ahbee Festival, we are deeply honored with a head dancing staff that is one unlike any other, folks. Our head man dancer, Mr. Levi Nepusameosu, Alberta, Canada. How about a round of applause? Our head man dancer, Hutcha. Our head lady dancer for this year's celebration, Miss Kagan Olsen from Manitoba, Canada. Kagan, Hutcha, Hutcha. And as always, our young people, our ambassadors, our master apprentice way of life, our head young man dancer, Mr. Watson Whitford from Montana, United States. Hoo-yah, Watson. Our head young lady dancer, comes from us from North Dakota, USA. Please welcome, this is Miss Tessa Holds the Enemy Abby. Hoo-yah, head women dancers, head man dancers, grand entry, Friday night, Manito Ahbee, welcome. And at this time, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pride and honor to see in front of us, they are here, they never left, our survivors, those that have taught us so much, the resiliency, the adversity, the experience of what they have seen in the residential school era. Ladies and gentlemen, help them out, give them a round of applause. All of our survivors of the residential school era, the day school era. Let them hear ya. Hey-ya, 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 hey-ya. You're now listening to the music of Showtime Singers, one of our invited drums. Hoo-yah, Showtime, hoo-yah. And again, ladies and gentlemen, entering, we also want to recognize and remember, we have so many, too many, of our murdered and missing Indigenous women and girls. Please join me, folks, as we remember they are never forgotten, our murdered and missing Indigenous women. Let's bring them all home. Hoo-yah! Bring them on home. Hoo-yah! And folks, so much more that our people have endured. There's even something known as the 60s scoop, where many of our children are taken right from the hospital beds. And they are now here. They are back with us. Hoo-yah! Hoo-yah! Residential school survivors, raise your hands. Residential school survivors, let them hear it, everybody. We are honored you are here. We will never forget. Once again, what you see in front of you, folks, in orange, the sea of orange that you see, the tears that are coming down their faces right now, the remembrance of what they witnessed. We are right down here the line. We have one of our invited drums, Wakia Luta. Keep bringing us in. Ladies and gentlemen, we cannot stop repeating this. Look at our survivors out here, 60 years, many of them, the first time seeing each other. Give them one more here, everybody. Hey-ya, let them hear ya. Hey-ya, hey, hey-ya, hey. Where would we be without the strength of these family that we see in front of us? Those that we also know that aren't here. Residential school survivors, day school survivers, one more, raise your hands, hupcha! Oh, hey! Oh, miigwech! Ang kinagaygo, gagiyam at damig. Get this to go, gagagas, siyat. Give it to Benanig. Get to go, give it to Benanig. Miigwech, chigom. Wado ka, give it, shaig. Apachigigit. Kisugat kisamin awa. Wagik chakunding. This is a place of strength, a place of wisdom, of healing. They need it. They've been waiting for this. Hey, 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 hey. They are mothers, grandmothers, aunties, relatives. There are sisters, our fathers, our grandparents. They are many, many that aren't here. And these that are here know how many are left, know where those graves are. Hold on, battle. We're good. Bring us home here, boys. Bring us home right here. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Put your hands together. Residential school, raise your hands again. That grand entry, give them, hear it, everybody. Let them hear ya.
Hey, we're going to go over here, ladies and gentlemen, ask if you'll please remain standing. And again, all the efforts of our Gichita Oyateki, we want to think about them at this time. And again, we're going to go to Battle River for our flag song that represents all of these brave acts of courage that they did on the battlefield for our sake, so that we can continue to understand the importance of exercising this freedom that they fought for. Sometimes we take it for granted, but at times like this, we definitely appreciate. So at this time, ladies and gentlemen, if you would, Battle River, flag song, please.
Thank you, Battle River. Ladies and gentlemen, as we remain standing here, we're going to ask the Drum of Thunder Hill to stand by for the veteran song. As we look out into the center, we see our veterans, and we're very proud, and we're very grateful for the contributions, the honor, and the glory these veterans represent. And I look around the arena floor here, ladies and gentlemen, you see an intergenerational pride. We see families coming together. We see matriarchs. We see all of the greatness before us here, ladies and gentlemen, and I believe this is what the Manito Ahbee wanted to bring forward, was this intergenerational excellence, this excellence that each of you represent here tonight. And to be with your family, feeling good, feeling this life spirit in this dance arena, we celebrate that here. We call upon the song of victory here to represent the victories of the past, the present, and the victories that we will continue to have in the future. Thunder Hill, if you would, please. Song of victory. Let us dance in place. Let us dance on behalf of your families, your proud families, that intergenerational wellness, that intergenerational pride. From nation to nation, here we go. Rika. I want to acknowledge each and every one of you for wearing orange tonight. As we acknowledge our children, as we acknowledge a time that many of you went to boarding school, you went to residential school, and you were just innocent children. And your innocence was taken. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're proud to see, we're proud to say that we're bringing back that revitalization of culture, that revitalization of history, the most optimum way that we were meant to be as indigenous nations. We want to celebrate our children. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise for all of our children. Ah, hey, ah, hey, ah. Ah, hey, ah. As we dance for restoration of our identity, as we dance for the restoration of who and what we are as indigenous people, ladies and gentlemen, we are proud that we could hear and celebrate with each and every one of you. We could be here in a night like this to celebrate in unity. As we gather tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we acknowledge all of you survivors. We acknowledge you. We are proud of you. We are grateful. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big round of applause to tonight's survivors' grand entry.
And now all of the dancers, you can kind of go, but all you head staff, please stay here, as well as the dignitaries. You're released. Go get a drink of water, tighten up your regalia, whatever you need to do. And then we'd like, the reason we do that is we'd like for you to understand, like the POW committee has some obligation to the Eagle staff or the veterans and whatnot. Well, we'd like all of you fine people here to be able to see them and recognize them. Those that carry positions of honor on the POW committee, those that are leading our people in such a good way. And at this time, I'd like to introduce to you a good friend of mine, an educator for many, many years, held many, many positions, approaching the importance of our cultural value system as he addresses schools and young people in a good way. Well, I'd like to introduce you at this time, ladies and gentlemen, none other than Ricky White. Ricky?
Miigwech. Ladies and gentlemen, as our relatives make their way, how about one more round of applause and a welcome home to our residential school survivors, our day school survivors that are making their way back to their chairs and their seats. They have always been among us. They have always been among us. Miigwech. Kiminche bene migom. Kiminche bene migom. At this time, it's an honor to be able to speak and introduce folks that have helped us once again inaugurate the 2022 Manito Ahbee celebration and gathering. It's about time. It was spiritually exciting to see our Eagle staff back on this ground, Manito Ahbee, Kajinikateg. And it's my honor to introduce this gentleman. Please put your hands together. Our Eagle staff carrier, Mr. Mike Hawkins, Queen's Own Cameron Highlanders. 60 Scoop Survivor. Manito Ahbee Eagle staff. Miigwech. And we would not have a powwow without our protocols and remembering and recognizing those that are fought for our ways of life. Miguel Ogichitakweg, our veterans. And please welcome folks. We'll ask them to take one step forward. Please welcome Mr. Tommy Prince Jr., Canadian Aboriginal Veterans. Hey. Mr. Michael Yellowwing Cannon, U.S. Marine Corps. Mr. Kelly Brown, Fort Garry Horse, 1226. Corporal Sutherland, 2nd Battalion, PPCLI. At this time, the Royal Winnipeg Rifle. Please welcome, folks. This is Mr. Robert Falcon Olette. And at this time, we'll be calling on Mr. Horace Massan, Royal Canadian Engineers. And once again, please welcome Lieutenant Sharp Doppler,